Want to make it as a fitness coach? Follow this video and I'll give you 7 qualities that every coach that's made it shares in their fitness coaching practice. I'm Craig Massey, been in the fitness industry for a long time, had a number of gyms, built my own practice, now head of education for the PFCA. The place that coaches come to for education around all this stuff to make their career a definite success. Number 1, they relate. They hold the relationship between coach and client at the center of their practice. It's all about communication, collaboration. There's no time, there's no space in the coaching industry for transactional coaching. This is transformative coaching. The only way we transform people's lives is if we relate to them, if we get to know them, if we figure out what they value, what they don't, how they believe in this thing, what they see as a priority, and again, what they don't. If we're not spending time getting to know and relating to our clients, we're going to miss all that information. Therefore, we're going to struggle aligning our prescriptions to them. Therefore, it'll be less meaningful to them. As we always say, one of the big principles in our practice is that the best program design is the one that's followed. In order for it to be followed, it needs to carry meaning. We know that progress for most people comes as a result of consistency. In order to create consistency, we need to create meaning in the process, in which case we need to relate. Top of the shop. Number 2, they are the guide, challenge, and supporter. Now, again, a lot of coaches get this mixed up. They dictate, they tell their client what to do. That's not the drill. We're here to guide. We're here alongside the client. We're stood by the side of them. We're not in front of them telling them exactly what to do. Why? Because our utility in this whole thing is to educate the client so that they can look after themselves. In which case, we need to guide them based on where they want to go. That's not our call. In order to do that, we challenge and support them. So again, back to their truth of their goal, back to the truth of where they started. We challenge them to move them forward step by step. That's our expertise. That's why the client came to us. They came to us to enable them to walk down this path. They don't know how, in which case we guide them. Number 3, we must be agile. Again, the industry today is very fixed. This is the program, get on with it. This is the template for everybody, get on with it. This will do that. This will equal that. Bollocks. It's not the truth. The truth is everybody's different. Every one of your client deserves their own individualized, unique prescription. Now, whether that's one-to-one, whether that's small group, whether that's large group, that should always be the aim. You're aiming to relate to your client, and in which case you must be agile with your prescription. You can have a plan, you can have a program, you should, in fact, but those are the rules of the game within which you can play. So you create space then for your creativity as a coach. So being agile is a definite requirement to be successful as a coach. Number 4, you are the holder of truth. Again, one of the things that coaches come unstuck on is they tell the client what they think they want to hear. It's not always useful. We know more than the client in this thing. Therefore, it's why the client comes to us in the first place. We're doing them a disservice if we're not telling them the truth. We're not telling them the truth around where they're up to, around what they can and can't do, and therefore what their next step should be. It doesn't mean that we're quashing their goals, that we're taking things away from them. We're just being real around what that process is going to look like, rather than suggesting that we can create a certain outcome in a certain amount of time. Rather, deliver the truth that comes with education so they get a better understanding around the whole thing that serves them well for the future. Holder of truth is key. Long term, as coaches, we should be thinking about how our client is going to manage themselves for the rest of their lives in fitness. Again, most mindsets in coaching are around the 6 to 12 week period. They don't think beyond that. And therefore, the prescriptions that sit within it are less meaningful because they don't allow the client to progress beyond them. Whereas, what we're saying is that you should be working for a client long enough to teach them all they need to know in fitness to look after themselves for the long term. That's the aim. That's where we become most useful. That's where all these things come in. We need to relate. We need to be the guide, challenger, and support. We need to be agile, and we need to be the holder of truth. We need to be that constant in order to guide them towards long-term success. Along that process, we must educate. If we're not teaching them something, we have to ask ourselves, what's the point? The education piece, as well as the relationship piece, is the thing that runs through the whole thing. So as part of the guidance, we're layering over education so that the client can understand. They can wrap their hands and their mind around the thing So it starts to make sense. As it starts to make sense, it will start to become more meaningful, in which case it'll be more consistent. Their outcomes are going to be better as a result. So education must lie at the center of everything you do. It's not about you having power over the client with you the holder of knowledge and them just doing what you tell them. That's not how it should be. You should be giving power to the client, empowering them so that in future they don't need you. They don't need another coach after they've worked with you. That would be the definition of success as a coach. With that in mind, then, we are the facilitator, not the fixer. The fixer is a short-term mindset. I'm going to fix this problem that lies in front of us right now. I'm going to get you to this short-term goal. I'm going to fix the things that I think need sorting out. What we should be thinking of with all this in mind is, with the guidance, facilitating future steps for the client so that they can manage themselves. There's a big difference there. The fix is us holding the power and sorting something out. The facilitator is the guidance. It's empowering them to sort themselves out. Okay? So we facilitate. Yes, we hold the tools. Yes, at the start there's going to be more that we do, and then it's going to change over time. But our mindset should be that we're trying to facilitate their own change rather than us forcing it on our behalf.